tell us who you are and how you got your brand started. Vic is who? Like, how did all that come about?
Yeah. So, I mean, my name is Victor Tyler. I didn't really think I was going to be into video production, cinematography, anything like that until I graduated college for real. So, it's not new, but I've been doing it for about 7 to 8 years now. And it's just been a very slow process, It's been one video at a time, really. The Vic is Who name comes from, I used to have a production company with a friend or whatever, and the name of the production company was Dear Who, so it was like Dear Who, Vic is Who, and I just kept that as I did my own thing, as I dropped from that company and started my own thing. I just kept that Vic is Who name because I was like, it's original enough.
Right. So you started out with a production company first and then got into more of the independent side?
So the whole story, I always been into cameras, and that's like, I didn't know video production was a job. Like, they don't tell you this in high school, you know what I mean? Even in college, I didn't know it was a job. So I always had a camera by my side, just making like, taking pictures and photoshopping stuff. And then I got into After Effects, and then I went to college for graphic design and art, and that's where it really started getting interesting. And that's when I started being like, oh, I could probably create something with this camera. So I started doing music videos. And I did music videos for years, always on the side. I still do music videos, but after that, I got into a couple design agencies, which led me to an advertising agency. I was able to get in the advertising agency on the production side after like begging them for months. First of all, I like the story on that is really crazy too. It was like one in Chattanooga, Tennessee. There's like one advertising agency that does production as well and like works with pretty good brands. So I emailed the CEO like 3, 4, 5 times till he like gave me an actual chance. So we sat down for coffee and he was just like, here, I'll hire you as a graphic designer. We see all of your emails every single week. Like, here, this is your chance. So I was a graphic designer first, and then I was like, I really want to go on this side, on the production side, and kind of learn more about video. And that's how I learned everything, was through them for like 2 or 3 years. And then the more I started doing freelance on the side of that job, the more I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna, try and do my own thing. I did my own thing for a while, and ended up having a friend that was interested in the same thing. We started a business, which was the Dear Who Productions. Did that for about a year, then I separated, and I'm still doing my freelance thing. That's the whole timeline.
Yeah, that's a crazy timeline. The dedication, it seems like how people always stumble into filmmaking, which is always really interesting how people get started. Because it's one of those careers, like you said, if you don't know someone that's in it, everyone's like, how in the world did you start doing that as a job? Like the looks I get from people when I'm like, yeah, I'm a creative. Like I just make videos. And they're like, how do you do that? So it's always interesting. And one thing that I would love to talk about more is like your ad agency experience, because coming from film school myself, like one of the things that the teachers always told us not to do was to go work in advertising. Like, really? I don't know why. It was one of those subjects where they were like, when you mix art with business, you're selling your soul and you just, selling out your talents and things. So there was always that keep the artistry side of your filmmaking craft and don't kind of like sell out to the business side. So I'd love to hear more about what you thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to film school, but I went to art school. So I was really heavy. I love art. Like that's just my main thing. But in terms of getting chances and trying to pursue something that you want to do, I personally didn't have that many choices. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to actually start besides look on YouTube and practice every single day. And I saw that the only way I was able to do that is through an advertising company that had production. I already had some interest in advertising, straight up. So, I mean, that helped. But I 100% get like keeping that art side away from that business side, because it's something I struggle with to this day. And like, if we want to be functional, I guess, in terms of society. You almost have to have a business side, you know, of everything we do. So it definitely helped, but at the same time, I do understand, like, advertising is a really sticky business, especially like when it turns into like the creative work, because the bigger the client is, the less I feel like creative it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a lot of hands touching the video. You know,
A lot of stakeholders and opinions, which is
right.
very difficult because it's like at one point you understand, like, right, you have objectives as a business, right? It has to make money, has to make sense. But then at the same time, that stifles the creativity and also the possibilities that you can have, like when you let the creative side just explore itself. So
Right.
I always wondered about the advertising agency. Would you go back to working at an ad agency?
Yeah, technically I do. I've always contracted with advertising agencies. I do contract work for agencies now, and I don't really have a problem with it. It's more of a, it's like, it's fun to use the other side of your brain as well. Like, I was lucky enough, the original ad agency, the first ad agency I worked for, they did a lot of creative work. Like, it's not like healthcare stuff. They were doing like Hulu commercials and regular commercials, Super Bowl spots sometimes. And it was just very, the CEO there and the creative director, like, he fought for his ideas, and that was really good to see. Like, he fought for his ideas. He doesn't do like everything everybody else does, really. He's like, this is the idea I have. It's going to be a disruptor, and if the client doesn't like that, then they shouldn't have signed the contract. And then he will go to bat, and like, he'll go to war for you. So I really respect that. And that's the background that I saw in advertising. You know what I mean? Like, he is a very creative person, and he type of person that fights for his ideas, you know? So it's not the very suit and tie advertising agency that a lot of people think of, you know? It's almost like a boutique. No, it is a boutique agency. So it's a little bit more, you know, relaxed and creative in that sense. And those are kind of the ones I found myself in.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's not as bad.
It's not bad. I don't know. I heard the worst of the worst. I don't know, film school. Would I suggest people go to it? I don't know. Just because, like, you know, you never know what type of teachers that you're going to get. And I think to not let people have that side or like express that interest in going into the business side of like filmmaking or art is more destructive in the long run. Because like a lot of people that I went to film school with, they don't even work in the industry anymore. Like most of them quit. I know probably like 3 people out of my class that are still like in it, and we're just like, you're still there? Like, you didn't switch to real estate? You didn't switch to becoming like a librarian or something like that? You never know. But I think if there's more kind of like that bridging between like the business side and art side, it would be more appealing for people to stay in it, because it's like it's not all bad.
I think people underestimate video, like film. I think
for sure
on every single level, like from somebody who's creating a music video for $100 and just now getting into it, to people who run multi-hundreds of thousands of dollars sets or whatever, or $1 million sets. I think it's heavily underrated. You know what I mean? Like, people don't, somebody out of film school, for example, wouldn't necessarily understand how much work goes into it. And then like if they're a freelancer, how hard it is to actually get your name out there in order to keep on making money. I feel like it's just something that's probably not hard, and you have to actually experience.
It's not, and that's the detrimental side. One thing that I always thought would be super complementary to the film school education is like, you know, you have like athletes, or you have nursing, or you have like those type of fields where those people are actually getting like trained hours working in their field. Like if you don't get the trained hours, like going out, knowing how to get clients and, you know, keep clients, create experiences, create services for them, like you're not learning. You're just learning like the trade, like how to hold right? Like, so it's not helpful. Like, I know to take good photos, but what does that mean if I can't find a client?
Right.
So let's talk about more of like your freelance. Like, how has that been, getting your brand name out there and doing all of that business side for yourself? Because like leaving advertising, I'm sure it was a pretty dramatic change. You always have kind of like the client base there to work from, but now you're doing that yourself.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's that thing where it's like I left my 9 to 5 to work 24/7. Like it's that. it's nonstop. Like there's some aspect of it that I'm always touching, whether that's the business side or creative side, and it gets tiring. But like it's also rewarding at the same time because it's something that most of the clients that I have now is not. Yeah, pretty much solely from me just doing work. You know what I mean? It's from me going out there and shooting something. Somebody sees it and whatever. They see my work and they're like, okay, yeah, I love this. I will book you, whatever. And I just feel like that's extremely rewarding because that's my story. I've literally, every single video, I just strive to make it a little bit better. And then it's just a snowball effect after you do your 80th video. I don't think a lot of people make it like from how I started, where it's like just picking up a camera and going out, make it to like their 80th or 100th video or whatever that they've shot. So, consistency. Yeah.
And
really
discipline.
all it came down to.
And discipline. It seems like a lot of discipline, a lot of self-education.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. Like what I would say maybe for like aspiring filmmakers that want to be where you're at right now. Obviously, this is not the only place you want to stay at, but like for right now where you built yourself up, like what are some nuggets of advice you can give other filmmakers that want to be in your position?
Yeah, don't stop learning. Don't think you know everything because you're never going to know everything. It's like, I feel like that's for everything. Like, there's something you can learn from everybody, every situation, every video shoot that you do. Every time you pick up the camera, you can learn from the last time you picked up a camera. And it's really putting all those things, reflecting, and then putting it into action. You know what I mean? So I usually tell people, like, if you want to get somewhere, like in any creative field, like you're going to have to look at all your past work, see what went right, what went wrong, how do you do it better, talk to other people, see how they do it. And it's really just like a collective experience that you have to go through. Like you're collecting all these nuggets of information from the community, from other people, from your experiences. Bring it all together, reflect on it, and then make sure your next video shoot or your next photo shoot, next whatever, you are implementing. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. So talk to me a little bit about, are you a one-man band right now still? Are you doing everything by yourself? Do you want to start like growing and expanding and having a team of people? Or how do you see your business and career transforming over the next couple of years?
Yeah, it's weird. I do a lot of different things, and I think that's me really just trying to figure out what I actually like doing, because I still don't know what I like doing. I mean, I do such a wide array of things, with all the way down to like shoestring budget of just myself to like hiring other people to do the work. And I'm, directing or in the background or whatever the case may be. So I enjoy all of it. I don't think I'll ever stop doing like the Chicago thing we mentioned earlier. Like, I feel like no matter what, if somebody wants a story captured and it's like a compelling story, like the communities, the culture and history of Chicago stepping, like I will bust down my camera, hop on a plane by myself and, immerse myself in that culture and community. Like, I love that. But I also like not being stressed and having a team of people,
Right.
In the future, I think that I'm just going to be more organized and like kind of pinpointed on what I actually want to do. But I feel like I have to go through these years of experimenting and taking on not as much as I can, but a wide array of different things in order to, figure that out. So.
Right. I like that idea because I think so many times when filmmakers are starting out, you have like a lot of people are telling them to niche down so specific to one thing. And I'm like, honestly, I think that's terrible advice. That's because it's like once you know how to tell one story, you can tell stories across all types of genres. Like it doesn't matter if it's documentary, nonfiction, a short video, a reel, an ad, like they're all stories like at the unit level. And then not pigeonholing yourself into just one aspect. So like I would say, what are some of like your favorite types of content I would say to make? Because you've done it all, music videos, short films. Do you have any doc experience? You like documentaries?
Yeah, I'm actually shooting a doc now. It's been for the past 3 years.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty good story. It's called How to Sue the KKK. So it's a really heavy title.
Yes.
But I am the cinematographer of that, and John Bedger is the director of it. But it's a story about here in Chattanooga. True story, not that long ago. In the 80s, the KKK, basically a bunch of guys got mad or whatever, got riled up, went down what is now ML King downtown in Chattanooga with a shotgun and shot 5 black women in front of their houses. They all lived.
The women
lived. Everybody lived. It was just like all the way down the street. 5 women got actually shot, but none of them, died or whatever. One of the women, Manny Faye Crumsey, basically took the KKK to court and was actually able to, sue them. Now, there's a lot of legal things that, is the meat of that story. Like, it's more of a legal film than anything. But, yeah, like that law, what's the word? That how they're able to sue the KKK is still used today in civil cases. So it's really just telling the story of how you can use that in order to...
Oh, the precedents, I guess, something. I think, maybe, I don't know.
I'm a bad, technical person when it comes to words. So, I have no idea.
Images around here. I got you.
But anyway, it's a story of that and how they sued the KKK and how that is effect today,
Wow.
It's a really interesting story. But anyways, yeah, that was... Being on that project has opened my eyes to documentaries. I don't think that I enjoy documentaries that much, but I did enjoy seeing the process of it. Very stressful, very John Bedger is a hero for telling this story and getting this out there. It's been a lot, and hats off to him. He deserves everything just to tell this story and have something that's been buried in Chattanooga for 30 years finally coming to the light and getting the attention it deserves, and letting their families have a little bit of closure and basically having something for their kids and their kids' kids to watch about their grandparents, So it's a really special project.
Yeah, but documentaries are huge. That's a long process, 3 years.
Yeah.
And the stress of making them is crazy. Just because it's like, we don't know where we're gonna get. We don't know what we're doing every single day, and we're just going with the flow. You just have to always be on. It's super tough making sure all the shots, I'm assuming all the shots are perfect and crisp looking when you have on the fly recording. So that's good.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a little too, for me, if that's a word. It's very... Get it. Did you see that? Get it. I can't. I have anxiety. I can't do that.
I feel that. The running gun. Yeah. Some people live for that method. The running gun, just shoot what you get. No. You look back at the footage, everything out of focus. No, I can't.
And I have a cinema camera. It's no autofocus or anything, so I'm straining my eyes, trying to make sure I get everything. You feel me? A little too stressful.
Nice.
But in terms of the original question was what do I enjoy the most? Honestly, music.
What do you enjoy the most right now? because you know it'll change.
I'd still say music videos is what I enjoy the most, just because it's like such an experimental realm. Like you can do anything really in a music video, and if somebody asks you why, there really doesn't have to be a why. It's like, because I thought it was cool. It's a music video, you know, and it's still, you can add as much story as you want, or you can just make it look as cool as you want. It's like a playground for techniques that you can use in like a documentary or a short film or whatever. And I just like it. I like working with artists as well, you know.
Yeah, you've worked with some major ones. I just saw your interview that you did with Isaiah Rashad.
Oh yeah.
Rolling Stone, like you got the names on that resume, Vic. I like it. Yeah. Let's see what other questions I have for you. Maybe just generally, what are some of the challenges you faced on this very long and arduous artistic journey of yours? Any major things that have almost like derailed your passion for film, or like potentially knocked you off of course?
Yeah, every day. I think every day I ask myself, why am I doing this? But it comes, I literally tell my wife every day, I'm like, I think I'm gonna quit. I don't think I could do this anymore. And then, you know, I end up keeping with it. But yeah, like I said, I feel like a lot of people underestimate how much goes into this mentally, financially, physically. Just everything will be tested. And and it is really hard to like keep everything aligned. But I feel like at the end of the day, if you're doing this for, you know, I mean, it's your passion, or you love telling stories, you love telling other people's stories, you feel like there's some deep part of you that needs to pick up a camera and get somebody in front of it and let them express themselves. Music video sense, like, it's worth it. You know, it's something that I can't put down, even though that on major days I'm like, I can't go on. It's not worth the money. It's not worth my time. And then, you know, 30 minutes later, I'm like, it's worth everything. So there's what was the original question?
What are some of the challenges you faced on your artistic journey?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just all of it is a challenge. If you want specifics, I mean, having to, I'll say in my case, having to figure out different ways in order to tell one story, basically. How do I put this? Almost like in the sense of advertising, where it's like at the core of everything, somebody just wants to make money. You know what I mean? Somebody just wants to sell something. So for me, if I was to ever quit any part of what I do, filmmaking, whatever, it would be that little part. I hate having to think of different ways to make this guy money. And he doesn't care about anything, or she doesn't care about anything. She just cares about, you know, putting it on Facebook ads or whatever and making sure that, you know, they get their metrics met, and then they make a certain amount of dollars, and then that little metric in their eyes performs, if it performs well or performs bad, is a direct reflection on me and my creativity. That's what it feels like.
Exactly.
And that's what they see, but it's not true. But it's hard to get past that.
Yeah,
it's hard to get past that screen, you know.
Because a lot of times, like, those people that do have that mindset of like, I want this to make money, they haven't put any thought or attention into, is your service optimized for video? Like, are your funnels accurate? Like, if this doesn't sell whatever you want it to sell, it's not the video's fault, because people are gonna watch a good video. But if they don't sell, I think it's more of the not wanting to take accountability on their side of the business. And so it's very easy to put that on the creative, like, oh, that didn't sell, so that's a reflection of your work.
Yeah, it's like so many things that go into it once you're running ads and you're working with a business is so many little things. But I guess that's also the problem of social media. Like when artists go on social media for themselves and they like post something they've worked hours on, for example, like maybe it's a drawing and they spent 35 hours on it, they post to social media and it gets 10 likes. It's probably that same type of feeling, and it's like, oh well, this isn't what they want to see, and then you start doing it for the algorithm rather than your creativity. It's like the same thing. I feel like same feeling.
Yeah, I feel that. So how do you balance that? Do you only post things, or do you make sure you only take on work now that actually reflects things that you want to do, versus whether or not that type of service right now is more popular or just going to make you the most money? Like, how do you navigate what type of content you shoot and then also advertise?
So I only advertise what I either like to do or what I'm doing for myself, like the photos or something I just really enjoy. I don't know. But that's really all you'll never see any type of advertising. You'll never see any type of Facebook ads, YouTube ads, whatever, unless I'm like, hands down, I love this. I'm not going to share it. In terms of taking on projects, it's like I have, and I'm sure everybody's like, I have the money makers and I have the passions, you know what I mean? And I have to balance those two. Usually on good months and good quarters, the passion outweighs the money makers. And I'm like, oh, I would rather do 15 videos on this side for 3 months than, doing 4 videos right here and making the same amount. So, it's really just balancing everybody that came to me in this month and seeing like what's worth taking on and what's not worth taking on. What would I rather do? Do I need to pay 3 times my rent next month?
Yeah.
It really, it's a dance, and that's what I was talking about. It's like you underestimate how hard freelancing is once you get into it, especially financially. You got to figure out those different ways to make money, I guess, and not compromise on your passion or your creativity.
For sure. It is. It's a 2-step, okay?
Yeah.
It's a little 2-step. I like it though. So I guess my next question is, do you find any challenges being a creative with like work-life balance? Because I know you're married. Like, how do you juggle having a family now with the random and unpredictable and long set days? Like, are there any major trade-offs that you've had to make because of that?
So I met my wife when I was just starting out, picking up a camera and getting into it. I am lucky enough, she on every single shoot that I had on the weekends that I was really passionate about, she was right there assisting me. Like, she was helping me along the way. So she understands, like, 1, how much passion I have for it, and 2, like, how much it actually takes to pull something off. And she's been by my side with the business as well throughout these 7, 8, whatever years. Also, she's a freelance makeup artist, so she is kind of the same way. She has last minute things. She's gone all day sometimes, but the whole work-life balance is just trying to make sure that on majority of the days you have cut-off hours. Like, I don't want to be looking at my emails while we're eating dinner or when we're watching a movie, or if I have to work on a weekend, just communicate it. Fine, I have to work on a weekend, but if it's like something we already had planned, it's like, no, I'm going to put you over making whatever money this is or whatever, thing that we have. I don't know. But I'm not going to put any last minute things over my family or anything like that. So it's just the understanding communication and, having mutual understanding of what we're both doing, because I mean we're doing two different things but that kind of tie into each other, so we get it.
Nice. I love it. Well, you guys are so cute. Let's see. Oh, that's so cute. So cute. Nice. Well, I would say I have two more questions for you before we can wrap out. The next one is, where do you see your career in the next 5 to 10 years? What are some like dream projects, passion projects you want to work on? Either independently or ones that you got in the back of your mind percolating.
5 to 10 years. I don't think that far ahead. I'm taking it day by day. I have no idea.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any passion projects though that you'd like to make one day, or that you're thinking about making in the future?
Yeah, so I definitely want to get a little bit more, or get back into directing a lot more, because I kind of took a 3-year, 4-year focus on cinematography just because I wanted to understand everything about it. So I really like branded myself as a cinematographer. And I mean, throughout that, I was directing a couple small things, but I want to get back into the director's hat a little bit and explore that and what my voice is with directing. I think that's a big thing for me. And with that comes, I want to do original projects. I want to do a lot bigger things, not pertaining to me, but pertaining to like the commercial realm. I feel like there's a lot that could be changed, and I feel like commercials, it seems like there's a little shift in them, but they went really stale for a while. And I see a little shift in like the commercial / content dance that they're doing right now. It's like a mix of both of those things, and I really love some of the stuff that these brands are popping out. Like Nike had one where they were talking about the history, what was it, like the 50th anniversary or the 30th anniversary of the Air Force Ones or whatever, I can't remember, but they did like a video in each kind of subculture that where Air Force Ones is a staple. Like, so there's Memphis juke and dancing, and they went into Memphis and kind of did like these little content spots or whatever. They did one in Houston with the slabs and whatever, and they did one for the, it's just stuff like that. I really love stuff like that. And then there's, if you remember the Super Bowl, or the content that Apple Music did for the Super Bowl to advertise Rihanna, if you look up somesuch.co, that's the production agency or whatever. But they did a whole bunch of stuff that I just love. They went to, I think, the Barbados, and like a little girl was walking down the street dancing to Rihanna, talking about she's the queen of the island. And then there was one in New York where it was a jeweler making a chain with Rihanna's logo, just showing in a different way, telling a story or showing a culture or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I like that form of advertising, commercials / content. I definitely want to get into that realm a little bit more. But yeah, short answer, directing.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And then my last question for you, since we're talking about the future, I know you don't think that far in advance, but this is something that's happening right now. Like, what are your thoughts on all this AI technology that's coming for our jobs, Vic? They just released Adobe Firefly Beta, which basically you can edit by just asking. You type what the edits of everything that need to be made, and it automatically generates it for you. So how do you see our industry changing with the advancement of technology?
So I guess I have an optimistic side and a pessimistic. I'll do the pessimistic first.
Yeah.
We're all going to lose our job, and everything's going to blow up, and we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do for our lives. That's the pessimistic version. That could very well happen. Optimistic, I mean, every generation has their technology shifts. I mean, the computer, film, people who were cutting film kind of lost their jobs to the computer, or they just moved with the times and now they're editing on a computer. It's probably going to be the same type of deal. Like, we're not going to necessarily lose our jobs, but we're going to have to change with society. You know, we're gonna have to change with technology. I can't see people, if we're too caught up on like AI is gonna take our jobs, you know, we probably are gonna lose our jobs. Without listening to society and how it's changing, you know, we're gonna lose our jobs because we're not changing with the times. So we probably sound like, I mean, in 10 to 15 years, we're probably gonna be like, you know, working one-on-one with AI. In some way, it's gonna help us. Maybe it'll make our lives harder. Who knows? But we're going to it's going to be ingrained into technology. It's going to be ingrained to society. It's going to be there, just like the internet is here now. It wasn't 20 years ago, well, 25 years ago, but it is now. I feel like it's the same type of deal. Or AI is going to take over and take all of our jobs.
Yeah, it'll be sentient, and then we'll just all be trying to fight off the robots like iRobot. I don't know.
Very well could happen. I don't doubt
There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, they want to stop building AI. You know, Elon Musk is on the case. You know, there's a lot of things going on. But I definitely see us maybe becoming more in line, like especially video editors now. I could see us being more in line with like producers, just learning how to use the technology better than anyone else knows how to use AI technology within our field.
Yeah.
And more so just understanding how to use the applications, like the new software applications, because spending 15 hours to edit a video is not healthy by any metrics. There's no way.
I would love AI to just edit half of it at least. That would be cool.
Yeah, like go ahead and do all the audio or match all the color correction on this instantaneously, so I don't have to do it frame by frame or keyframe by keyframe. Like,
if it's video editing, I'd be happy for AI to take our jobs. Honestly, I'd take color grading, but like video editing, AI can take it.
Exactly. But yeah, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for joining and just chatting. It was great learning a lot about you I didn't know, which is crazy because we've been working together for quite some time. But it's not this first time for everything.